You know that sudden cramp in your calf, middle of the night maybe, or just feeling run down even when you think you've had enough sleep. For a lot of us, especially folks over 65, these little things can start to pile up.
They really can.
So today we're doing a deep dive into something that might just be hiding underneath it all: magnesium deficiency, and why it seems to be particularly important in our later years.
Exactly. We've looked at some, really interesting sources that kind of challenge the usual thinking about magnesium.
Yeah.
We're going to explore why you might be low, even if, say, your annual checkup doesn't flag anything.
Right, because this really jumped out at me. Only about, 1% of your body's magnesium is actually floating around in your blood.
So that's 1%. It's tiny.
The other 99% is tucked away inside your cells, your bones, tissues. So just relying on that standard blood test, it feels a bit like checking the dipstick when most of the oil is somewhere else entirely.
That's a great analogy. And what's really fascinating is how the body compensates.
How so?
Well, it fiercely protects that 1% in the blood. It'll actually pull magnesium out of your bones, out of your muscles if needed, just to keep that blood level looking okay.
Okay. So the blood test might look perfectly fine.
Right.
While behind the scenes, your actual reserves are, dwindling.
Precisely. Your cellular levels could be quite low.
Okay. So if the blood tests aren't giving us the full story, how can we, get a better sense of whether we might be running low?
Well, the sources we looked at point to some key symptoms, almost like a checklist you can run through in your head.
Like warning signs.
Sort of, yeah. Subtle clues, but significant. Those muscle spasms you mentioned, that's a big one. Even like a tiny twitch in your eyelids sometimes.
Huh, really? An eyelid twitch?
It can be, yes. Also feelings of anxiety, finding it hard to get good quality sleep. And there's one that seems especially relevant as we get older.
What's that?
Those really intense nighttime leg cramps. You know, the ones they call Charlie horses?
Oh, I know exactly what you mean. Wakes you right up.
Doesn't it just, the research suggests that if you're getting those regularly, it's a pretty reliable sign.
So frequent Charlie horses can really point towards needing more magnesium.
It's a strong indicator, yes. And interestingly, another potential clue can be persistent cravings for sugar.
Sugar cravings too. Okay, now let's talk diet. We try to eat well, right? But how much magnesium are we actually getting?
I think the recommendation is around 400 milligrams a day.
Roughly, yes, around 400 milligrams for many adults.
That doesn't sound like a huge amount on paper, but what does it mean in terms of actual food?
Well, that's where it gets quite eye-opening. To hit that 400 milligram mark, just from almonds, for instance, you'd need to eat about 5 cups.
5 cups of almonds? Wow, that's a lot of almonds.
It is. Or take spinach, another good source. You're looking at maybe 5 large handfuls.
5 handfuls of spinach, okay.
Even dark chocolate, which people often mention for magnesium, you'd probably need around 4 whole bars to get near that target. Okay, suddenly getting 400 milligrams just from food seems pretty challenging for most people day to day.
It really can be. And then there's another layer to this. Things that actually block us from absorbing the magnesium we do eat.
Okay. So even if you eat the right foods,
you might not be getting the full benefit. This is really key, especially for, the 65 plus group. Things like inflammation in the gut, which unfortunately can be more common as we age, can slash magnesium absorption dramatically, maybe by 60 or even 70%.
60 to 70% reduction. Wow.
Yeah. And then you have common dietary staples, refined grains, lots of sugary foods, starchy things. These don't just block absorption, they can actually deplete your body's magnesium stores.
So processed foods are working against us here. What about drinks, like coffee, or maybe a glass of wine in the evening?
Both caffeine and alcohol are known to interfere with magnesium levels, yeah. And another really big factor, particularly relevant as we get older, is medication.
Right. Many people are on multiple medications.
Exactly. And quite a few common medications can either reduce magnesium absorption or make your body excrete more of it. So you've got this combination of maybe not getting enough in, and then factors actively reducing what you do get or increasing what you lose.
It really paints a picture of how, easy it could be to become deficient without even realizing it. Now, if someone's thinking about supplements then, because the diet is tough, are they all pretty much the same? The supplement aisle can be confusing.
That's a really important question. And no, they're definitely not all the same.
Okay.
Our sources were quite clear on this. Some of the most common forms, like magnesium oxide, are actually, not very effective.
Magnesium oxide, I think I've seen that one a lot.
You probably have. It's cheap to produce. but the absorption rate is incredibly low, maybe only 3 or 4%.
Only 3 or 4% gets used by the body.
Essentially, yes. And on top of that, it's well known for having a laxative effect. It can often cause diarrhea because it's pulling water into the bowel.
Ah, okay. So not ideal. You're taking it, but not really absorbing it, and it might cause stomach upset.
Precisely. Not the best combination.
So what's a better option then, according to the research?
The form that consistently gets recommended is magnesium glycinate.
Glycinate, okay. Why is that one better?
Its absorption rate is much, much higher, somewhere around 80%, so your body can actually use it effectively.
80% versus 3 or 4. That's a huge difference.
Massive difference. Plus, it's generally very well tolerated. It doesn't usually cause that laxative effect. And interestingly, the glycinate part is glycine, an amino acid, which itself might help promote relaxation and potentially improve sleep.
Oh, that's an added bonus, especially if sleep is an issue.
Exactly. Many people find it helpful for sleep, which, as we know, can be a challenge sometimes as we age.
Okay, so magnesium glycinate seems like the way to go for supplementation. Now, you mentioned sleep and muscle cramps, but magnesium does more than that, right? I remember reading something about calcium.
Oh, absolutely. This is critical. Magnesium is like the master regulator for calcium in the body.
Regulator? How so?
Well, we need calcium, obviously, for bones and teeth, but too much calcium inside our cells, that's not good. It can cause problems. One source actually used the phrase, we calcify as we get older.
We calcify. That sounds a bit alarming.
It's a stark way to put it, but it illustrates the point. Excess calcium buildup in soft tissues, in arteries, isn't healthy. Magnesium is essential for controlling how much calcium gets into the cells and stays there.
So magnesium kind of keeps calcium in check within the cells.
You can put it that way, yes. People often hear about vitamin K2 helping keep calcium out of arteries, which it does, but magnesium plays an even more fundamental role in managing calcium at the cellular level. This is hugely important for cardiovascular health, especially later in life.
Okay, that makes sense. So it's crucial for heart health, blood vessel health. What else? What other jobs does magnesium have?
Oh, it's involved in hundreds of processes. For instance, it's surprisingly effective at helping prevent kidney stones.
Kidney stones?
It binds to oxalates, and the urine oxalates are a key component of the most common type of kidney stone. And magnesium binds to them much more strongly than calcium does, helping to keep them dissolved so they don't form stones.
Interesting. And the muscle connection again?
Yes, definitely. Think of it like this. Calcium tells a muscle to contract. Magnesium tells it to relax.
Ah, the on-off switch.
Kind of, yeah. So if you don't have enough magnesium, muscles can stay too tense, leading to tightness, spasms, those cramps we talked about.
Right. And what about the heart muscle itself? Heart health is obviously a major concern for, the 65-plus community.
Absolutely critical. Magnesium is vital for maintaining a steady heart rhythm. It helps relax the blood vessels, which can support healthy blood pressure. There's even evidence suggesting that consistent, adequate magnesium intake over time might help manage conditions like atrial fibrillation.
Really? Atrial fibrillation?
It can potentially help correct it, yes. Though the sources emphasize this often takes time, several months of consistent, sometimes higher doses.
And you mentioned higher doses. Are there other situations where more magnesium might be needed?
Yes, for sure. For significant deficiencies or specific conditions like, say, chronic migraines, fibromyalgia, or other pain syndromes, certain mood disorders, and also diabetes, the need might be much higher. We're talking potentially 1,000, 1,500 milligrams or even more per day, taken consistently for months to really replete the stores and see benefits.
Wow, that's quite a bit higher than the basic 400 milligrams.
Yeah.
And you mentioned diabetes. There's a specific link there.
Yes, a very important one. High blood sugar levels actually cause the body to lose more magnesium through urine.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So people with diabetes or even insulin resistance often have a greater need for magnesium because they're constantly losing more of it. Maintaining good magnesium levels is extra important in managing blood sugar.
That's really crucial information. Okay, this is all fascinating. Now, our sources also talked about 3 secrets about magnesium. Let's unpack those. What was the first one?
The first secret is about, water. Specifically, how the water we drink has changed.
Changed how?
Historically, people got a fair amount of magnesium from their drinking water, especially if it was hard water from wells or springs. Hard water is naturally rich in minerals, including calcium and magnesium.
Right, I've heard of hard water.
But nowadays, most of us drink municipal water that's been treated, or we use home water softeners. And what do water softeners do? They remove the hardness minerals, calcium and magnesium.
They take them out. I didn't realize that.
Yes, they typically swap them for sodium ions. So that natural source of dietary magnesium has, for many people, disappeared. Some studies have even shown higher rates of heart attacks in areas where water softening is very common compared to areas with hard water. Losing that magnesium from the water might be a contributing factor.
That's actually quite shocking. Something as simple as softened water having that potential impact.
Okay, what's secret number 2?
Secret number 2 is about teamwork. Magnesium doesn't work in isolation. It has crucial partnerships with other nutrients, particularly vitamin D and vitamin B1.
Vitamin D. Everyone talks about vitamin D. Exactly. But here's the thing. Your body can't properly activate or use vitamin D if you don't have enough magnesium.
So you could be taking vitamin D supplements, but if you're low on magnesium,
they might not be doing you much good, or certainly not as much good as they could be. Magnesium is essential for vitamin D metabolism. And similarly, vitamin B1 thiamine, which is vital for energy in dealing with stress and often depleted by high-carb diets. It also needs magnesium to work properly.
So magnesium is like a key enabler for these other important vitamins.
Precisely. It highlights how interconnected everything is in the body. You need the whole team working together.
Okay, that makes sense. What's the third and final secret?
The third secret takes us right down to the cellular level. It's about energy.
Energy production.
Yes. Magnesium is absolutely fundamental for creating ATP, adenosine triphosphate. ATP is basically the energy currency for every single cell in your body. It powers everything.
Everything runs on ATP.
And the process of making ATP, which happens mainly in the mitochondria, heavily relies on magnesium. It's involved in multiple steps.
So if you're low on magnesium,
your cells literally can't produce energy efficiently. This directly connects to feelings of fatigue, low energy, that sense of being run down we talked about at the start. Common complaints, especially as we age, right?
Absolutely. Fatigue is a big one.
And it could very well be linked to inadequate magnesium for basic cellular energy production. Plus, as we touched on, magnesium helps lower the stress hormone cortisol and improve sleep, both of which also massively impact your energy levels.
Wow. It really is involved in so much, from stopping a leg cramp to literally powering our cells.
Okay.
This has been incredibly insightful. So just to wrap up, what are the main things you should really take away from this?
I think the big ones are, don't rely solely on that standard blood test. It often misses the picture.
Right.
Pay attention to your body's signals, muscle cramps, twitches, poor sleep, anxiety, those Charlie horses especially.
Listen to the symptoms.
Exactly. Realize that getting enough magnesium just from food is genuinely difficult, and many things can block absorption, like gut issues, certain foods, alcohol, caffeine, and medications.
If you choose to supplement, magnesium glycinate is likely your best bet for absorption and tolerance. Steer clear of oxide.
Glycinate, got it.
Remember, its vital role in balancing calcium, which is crucial for heart and overall cellular health as we age, and appreciate its wide-ranging benefits preventing kidney stones, relaxing muscles, regulating heart rhythm, influencing blood
These
sugar.
are 3 secrets.
Don't forget those. Less magnesium in our water now, its essential partnership with vitamin D and B1, and its fundamental role in creating the energy that keeps us going.
That's a fantastic summary. It really brings it all together. So for you listening, think about it. With processed foods, common medications, maybe softened water in your home, all these modern factors that can deplete magnesium, especially as we get older. It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? How might paying more attention to your magnesium intake actually impact how you feel, your energy, your overall health moving forward? It's definitely food for thought. Reflect on those symptoms we discussed. Maybe it's something worth exploring further, perhaps discussing with your healthcare provider, just considering how this vital mineral fits into your personal health picture.
Absolutely. It's about asking, could optimizing magnesium be a key piece of the puzzle for feeling your best as you age?
A really important question for everyone to consider. What steps could you take? Definitely worth thinking about for your long-term well-being.